Vektor's Terminal Redux is a monster of a thrash album. Thrash has been on the rise lately, and it's nice to see thrash be applied in such a conceptual way. Even the greats of thrash that everybody talks about, Slayer, Metallica, Testament, Creator, they didn't take thrash to such a conceptual level all the time. Today in this video, I'm going to break down Vektor's Terminal Redux track by track. The concept of this album is very unique but very grand, and that is why I'll be doing this breakdown. On Charging the Void, our main character is deployed into space. The sky is full of solar flares, and he is a test subject of the government. His purpose is to test extreme isolation. He overrides the autopilot in his ship and goes searching for binoculars. They're a sort of molecule that allows for time control. He calls them the sands of time. What the main character intends to do with these time-controlling molecules is to head back to his home planet and become a tyrant. He says that regimes only fall because tyrants die. He hopes to be an eternal tyrant. Now that our main character has gathered these binoculars and has unlocked eternal life, he returns to Cygnus. His ship is damaged from his voyage, and when he enters the atmosphere, it blows up in this sort of fireball. When he returns to Cygnus, he's charged with a crime, and he's questioned about why he left the study. They threaten to kill him, but he tells them that he's untouchable, he's immortal. Anything these people can do to him is futile. He eventually comes to power, and he starts using this mind control on people. It's called the Liquid Crystal Disease. The next track, LCD, is a bit of a statement on our current society. This tyrant uses subliminal messages to train the people in his society, and they have no freedom of choice. After an instrumental, we have the fifth track called Ultimate Artificer. The main character talks about his reign of terror on this track, and he gains control of power grids in Cygnus in preparation for the cleansing. On track 6, our main character launches an attack on both Cygnus and Epsilon. He figures that since neither of these places could maintain order, he should control both of them and maintain order that way. It's worth noting that no one from Cygnus or Epsilon can put up a particularly good fight because they're all under mind control. It's somewhat of a genocide. The populations in these two places are both halved. The main character refers to this as curing the plague. On the track Psychotropia, an empire is made on the ashes of Epsilon and Cygnus. This empire is everything that the main character has ever dreamed about. As the track's name would suggest, this empire is called Psychotropia. It's interesting to note that his thoughts align with others because of this mind control device. No change is allowed, and balance must be maintained because change, according to our main character, is what puts an end to tyranny. At the end of the track, the city center rises above the rest of the population. On the track Pillars of Time, the raised kingdom is mining the sands of time from space. They get greedy with these time-controlling molecules, and everything falls apart. On the track Collapse, the protagonist, if you'd call him that, realizes that time is not his to control. He gets very reflective on this track. Those who have achieved immortality realize that they're unfulfilled from this. On this track, the main character comes to realize himself. He says, "I see my vile form." On the closing track, Recharging the Void, the protagonist sacrifices himself. On the previous track, the main character realizes that part of the purpose of life is death. Without mortality, the value of life is void. This is what drives him to his self-sacrifice. This album is a statement on mortality. It's saying that eternal life isn't necessarily all it's cracked up to be. The time that we have is given its value by the fact that it's limited. This is a very unique metal album in the sense that the lyrics are at the forefront. Normally with metal, you're not paying as much attention to the lyrics as you are like the type of vocals or the drumming, the guitar work. With Terminal Redux, the concept and the lyrics are what really grab your attention. And while this album is no slouch instrumentally, it's very ambitious as far as the guitar work and the drumming goes. It's a very beautiful album, but the instruments take a back seat to the concept, which is very unique for a metal album. If you haven't already listened to this album, I mean, I don't know what critic hasn't given this thing a rave review, but if you haven't heard this album, give it a listen, because after all, you can't live forever.